Hi, everybody. My name is Jerry Kostica. I'd like to welcome you to this impromptu training that we're going to be doing today. Today, we're going to be talking about maximizing tools and resources. This is to get us started on the new year, to get us in the right direction, kind of understanding how to utilize some of the tools I've developed. And I'll give you some tips and tricks and hints that will help you be much more effective in what you're doing, okay? So the reason that I'm actually doing this and that I didn't like schedule a training and put the notifications out and everything is because over the last few weeks, I've been contacted by a lot of distributors that have been asking about some of the tools that I've developed, asking about the best ways to utilize them and, really how to maximize their usage. And so I figured, instead of me responding to every single person with basically the same basic information, that I would just take a few minutes, do a quick training, little impromptu training, do something that's kind of fun to benefit the people who are here live. I have some people ask me, is it important to be on the live training if you're recording this and it's going to be available for playback? And the answer to that question is absolutely. And the reason is because during the live presentation, I can actually do things interactively with my audience, with the people who are viewing this that obviously can't do if it's recorded. So for those of you who are on right this second, that are on right now, while this is going on live, you're going to have an opportunity to kind of interact a little bit, but in a little bit of a different way, okay? I'm also going to be extending a New Year special offer on the tools that I have. So I figured if I gave you a little insight on the best way to utilize these, then I make them available to you at pretty much the lowest prices I can. You'll be able to get a great value, but then also get a great marketing tool that's going to help you with your 2019 efforts. Okay? All right. So first and foremost, this is actually something that I did not personally develop. I'm not sure exactly who did. I know the Mayans have been credited to a certain degree. But the first thing I'm going to talk to you about, and probably in my opinion, like really the number one tool that you really do need if you want to be successful in this business and pretty much any business, it's one of these. It's a calendar. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be, some big day timer with, the minute by minute schedule or whatever. Pretty much what I do is I just get myself a calendar like this that has each one of the days of the month with space for notes. And the reality is that having a calendar, this is your roadmap. This is your roadmap to success. And each day in the calendar, it represents either an opportunity for you to get closer to your goals or an opportunity to, well, actually not an opportunity. It basically, if you're not utilizing it, becomes a wasted opportunity. Because every time you look at your calendar and there's a blank day, and I mean blank, whether it be that you didn't sample somebody water, that you didn't talk to somebody, that you didn't have a demo that you went to or a demo that you conducted, or that you didn't go to a training, whether it be live or on video or, at a location or online. Any of those things, those constitute getting closer to your goals, okay? So by the end of the year, you should have a calendar that's just marked up and every day should have something on it, because if you don't have something on a day, that day was a wasted opportunity. That's just really what it boils down to. So it's not that you have to pack your day from, sunrise to sunset. It just is, you need to make sure that you're making forward progress on a daily basis. And this is an easy way to make sure of that, is by creating a calendar and a schedule that you can abide by and that you can follow, that's going to help you achieve your goals, because that's really what this is all about, right? Is achieving those goals. So if you have not gotten your 2019 monthly calendar or day planner or whatever it is that you're going to use, if you haven't gotten it yet, my recommendation is you need to go out and get one ASAP, okay? ASAP. The next resource that I'm going to talk about, so that's the first resource. Get yourself a calendar. Important, okay? The next resource is actually, it's a website. and that is the going6a.com distributor resource site. Now, this is a site that I put together to try to create a location where not every resource that's out there is available on this website, but I'm pretty particular. If you know me, you know that I don't mince words. I don't mess around. I don't play stupid games. I just don't. It's not the way I like to do things. Okay? So when I made this resource website, it was to be very cut and dry. It was to be able to have a location where distributors could go and access resources that can help them a lot. And so on the going6a.com website, now this is a free site. There's no charge to access the site. It's available to any distributor in Enagic. So I hope that you will bookmark that page and go to it often. One of the things that you have to realize that if you want to be successful in this business, a constant engagement in the information that's available will help you stay consistently focused on the business. That's one of the reasons that, I created the website, and yet I go to it probably 3 or 4 times a day. I go and look for things on the site. Why? Because I actually made it because I wanted to be able to have my distributors be able to have easy access to these resources. So if I'm making it for them, I was also making it for myself. I don't make anything that I would not use. As a matter of fact, when I create any of the materials or any of the resources that I've done, it has pretty much been with the intention of creating something that I would want to use to help better my business and help further my efforts. That's why I create these things. Okay. So it's www.going6a.com. So it's GOING, the number 6, the letter A.com. Very simple, very easy. Okay. Now on that website, there's a printable resource library that has all sorts of stuff, including the tax benefit form. Now, this is just a little one-page flyer that you can give out to prospects that talks about having them utilize a tax return for something other than, a shopping spree. Instead of just burning through some dough that they're acting like, this is found money. You have to realize that is their money. That's the person's money coming back, okay? So if you're going to be getting a tax return, if you know people are going to be getting a tax return, why not emphasize the benefit that could be created by them utilizing those funds for something other than a little shopping spree? Let me ask you, which one would be more important to you? Okay? And this is in all seriousness. Let's say that you have a tax return that comes in $3,000-$4,000, okay? Well, you could go buy that bigger television, right? You could go buy that really expensive purse or that really expensive jacket or new suit or whatever it might be, okay? Or you could purchase a product and by signing one additional piece of paper, make yourself eligible to participate in probably one of the most lucrative business opportunities that has come around in a century. Well, heck, it'd be ever, okay? Which would make more sense? To invest that money? An investment is something that pays you back. It creates a return. And that doesn't necessarily always have to be financial, okay? If you're investing in a machine and through proper hydration, you start to see health improvements, that's a damn good investment because you're getting a return. It doesn't always have to be a financial return, but in the case of Enagic, it can be. Because if you decide to work the business, you can then make some money as well, which that's a pretty good deal, okay? So the printable resource library is something that everybody has access to, and that if they're not utilizing it, typically the reason they're not utilizing it is because they don't know it's available. They don't know it's there. And if they don't, as a distributor, if you have new distributors coming into the mix, you need to let them know what is out there at their disposal. Because you have to realize, the more success that they get, the more success that you get. That's the way the whole comp plan works at Enagic. Okay, so you have a vested interest in the success of your distributors. That being said, it means that you should also have a vested interest in making sure that they have every resource available to make that success as big and as rapid as possible. Okay, so make sure that make sure that you know about the site, and then make sure that every one of your distributors knows about it as well. And I'm going to tell you, I don't really care whether or not you go on there and buy anything, okay, because there's only one page where that's even available anyway. Those resources are there to help our distributors overcome issues, overcome problems, okay? So that being said, that's what I care about the most. And I'd like you to spread the news about the site to make sure as many people have access to that information as possible, okay? And unlike some of the other sites that are out there, this is my site. I didn't copy anybody else's stuff. I didn't go and, yoink things from here and there from other people that have put forth a lot of effort. Because I can tell you right now, the majority of everything in that resource library, I either compiled or wrote myself. Okay, I don't go out and take other people's stuff. So if you're looking for legitimate resources created by the source, this website is probably one of the best ones out there, okay? Now, there's also a distributor-only password-protected special reports page that has to do with competition reports. Now, because these are competition reports, obviously, I don't want just anybody having access to them. Why? Because I don't necessarily want our competition knowing what I know. I don't want them to know the things that I know about them so they can just go on their websites and change them. So that is a password-protected page. Now, if you'd like access to it, it's a very simple process. You send me an email to Gerald, Gerald, at powerfulh2o.com. Simply send me an email with your name, your rank, and your ID number, your Enagic ID number. Those three things. And then request the password for the special pages, basically the password protected pages. And then I will email it back. But without that, nope, you're not going to get it. Because I want to make sure that that's only being used by our Enagic distributors, okay? There's also a videos link where this video right now will be on there. It'll be on there probably tonight, okay? But there's a bunch of other videos that are on there as well. Other trainings that are like this. After the 2016 convention in Las Vegas, after that, I went back out to Vegas into a studio and recorded about 25 different videos, all scripted. That's another thing too. It's great to make these videos that people can then have access to, but it's really important that everybody remember that going off the cuff can have its downfalls, because sometimes you may say something that you either don't say it correctly, or it just doesn't come out right, or maybe you heard something and you repeat that's incorrect. So the reason that I did the videos the way that I did, and that was with completely scripted on a teleprompter, to make sure that the information that was being put out there was 100% accurate. Okay. 2, I wanted to make sure that I didn't accidentally say something that might not be right. So I made sure that I checked everything out, and so the facts, the information that are in those videos, they are very spot on, okay? And so what that means for you as a distributor is it means you can rely on that information should you decide to share those videos with either other distributors or with your prospects, okay? It also has a link for recommended vendors. Now, that's not to say that there's other vendors that are out there that don't have great, products and everything. Just the vendors that are on there, they're the ones that I have personally dealt with and that I know can help you. That's, if I haven't used something personally, I will not recommend it. Nor do I think anybody should. If you have not done something or you use something, how can you recommend it? I mean, from what basis, from what standpoint are you making a recommendation if you've never used it yourself? Okay, so the recommended vendors there, those are folks that I know have great things, like Renee Merlot with her demo stands and her transport carriers. I use Renee's stuff all the time. Okay, Tony Mack is in there with some of his brochures that he has, business cards, things of that nature. Even Shan Stratton, I've got a link in there for some of his vitamins that he has, because he has some great stuff. There's also the Enagic websites there, the cases for the machines, the traveling cases. There's a link to those. Things that I have used personally that I know work will be there. Okay? All right, now let's get into some specific tools and resources. And some of these might not seem like a tool or resource. You might be, when I show you this, you might go, wait a second, what? How is that a tool or a resource? Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about are the visual impact bottles. That's these guys. Hopefully you can see those okay. All right, so we've got two different styles, Congacell, Conganizer. So you might be asking yourself, Jerry, why in the world did you make drinking bottles that look like batteries? Okay, let me tell you what my train of thought was for these. So basically, when I heard about alkaline water, okay, I'm just using that as a general term. I know that what we have is alkaline ionized water, also known as Kangen water, the best water in the world. I know that, but just for the sake of this training, I'm just going to refer to it as alkaline water, okay? When I had heard the word alkaline, the only place I had heard that word before was in regards to batteries. Never really heard it in regards to the human body or physical condition or health or anything like that. I never really heard it before. But I had heard it in the context of a battery. Well, the story's kind of funny actually. My son, when, a few years back, came down to me. He said, hey, Dad, do you have any AA batteries? I need some for one of my game controllers. And I was like, sure, man. I went in my desk, I grabbed a handful, and I said, how many do you need? And he was like, I need 4. Well, I had pulled out 5. So I gave him the 4, and I just set the other one down on my desk. Well, I had actually gotten a sample of one of these bottles. Actually, it's right. This is the actual sample. This is kind of funny. That's the sample right there. This is the one that started the whole thing. I got sent this to me by a manufacturer that was, seeing if I would be interested in getting their products. Well, I saw this, and it was standing right next to the battery. And I was looking at it, and I'm going, God, dimensionally, and, the way that this thing is, if I took that battery and if I could stretch it up like this and widen it out, it would be almost this bottle configuration. And so this light bulb went off, ding, alkaline, battery, bottle. I jumped on my computer and I started hammering some stuff out. And within about, 1 or 2 hours, I had a prototype where I had, I had the piece of paper that I had printed something out, taped on it. And I was looking, I was like, oh my gosh, this could be good. Now, the reason these were created were not to be a drinking vessel. Now, obviously, this is a functional water bottle, okay? But in order to get the look that I wanted, with the top, with the cap, the whole body of the bottle having printing, they couldn't do it in traditional screen print. So this is a wrap. This is actually a piece of plastic that has been printed that has been put onto each one of these bottles, including the top, okay? So while it is a functional water bottle, that's not what its intention was. Its intention was to get attention. That's what the intention was. The intention was to have something that looks like a giant battery and have a person who sees it and doesn't know what it is scratch their head and strike up a conversation with you like, hey, what is that? Because as soon as they ask that question, it's an icebreaker, guys. Let's be realistic. What's one of the most difficult things to do when it comes to our water and a stranger? It's to create some way to approach a person and say, have you ever heard of this? Okay? Well, the reason that I made these is so that they would do the heavy lifting for you. Just by being a unique, eye-catching, like, what is that? That's enough for the other party to break the ice themselves because their curiosity gets the best of them. They want to know what it is. And that's exactly what it was created for. And I've had so many people contact me back that have raved about the fact that it works exactly as advertised. Because when you walk into a gym or a restaurant or work, and you come in with something that appears to the untrained, uninformed eye as just a giant battery, it is a conversation starter. And that's exactly what this thing was intended to be, okay? So, and that's how you use it. You know, one of the people that I know for a fact uses these better than just about anybody I've seen. Actually, there's two people. There's Troy, and it's Troy Eck. Troy, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Troy uses these things something fierce. He goes to the gym all the time, and he's told me, he goes, Cherry, it works great. And then Marty goes to the gym. Marty it's not Wetzel, it's Wenzel. Marty's local here in California. I see him all the time. And he posts on Facebook all the time. Like whenever he goes to the gym, this is what he posts when he's going to do his workout. He puts this on top of the machine or the workout equipment he's about to use, and he takes a picture of this instead of taking a picture of himself. So, and you might think, well, why would you do that, man? We're in the Facebook age where it's all about you. It's all about your pictures. Well, it's because Marty is smart enough to understand that every time he puts this bottle down there and takes a picture of it, he's creating potential. He's creating an environment that if someone new sees that, they're going to be like, hey, I get that you're going to the gym, but what's the deal with this giant battery? And now that has just opened the door for him to be able to tell them about the water. This has created conversation. Now, one of the things that's kind of interesting, a lot of people don't know this. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a secret. So some of the information that's on this, you see that where it says the June 2074, this was modeled after actually some of the stuff that are on real batteries. They have stuff like, here it would normally say AA, double A or triple A, but it just has a single A standing for alkaline, right? Well, it has the 8.5 to 9.5 pH, and then it usually has an expiration date, which is going to have a month and a year. For those of you who are in the know, you already know this, okay? The June 2074, that's a 100-year anniversary of Enagic. That's what that is. That's what that was for. It's because I needed to put some kind of date, and I wanted that date to have significance. But most people don't know what the significance is. So as the creator of this, I am letting you in on what that significance is. So now you are also in the know. So those are the visual impact bottles. All right. Now, for those who are on live right now, I told you that we were going to do something a little bit different. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a giveaway right here, right now. And here's the way it's going to work. I'm going to ask you a question. The first person who responds in the chat, okay? The first person who responds in the chat with the correct answer is going to win themselves one of each of those bottles that I will send to you completely on my dime, shipping, the bottles, everything I'll cover. Okay? So here's the question. Are you guys ready? Now my lovely assistant Nathaniel is going to be monitoring the chat, so he will see the first person who does it. So here it goes. So to win one of each style of the visual impact bottles, it'll go to the first person who can put the correct amount of ounces that these particular bottles hold. So if you put the correct number of ounces that this bottle holds, you will win two of them. One of each style. What do we got, Nathaniel? You got any guesses at least?
We have our winner.
Okay, it looks like we have a winner. Who is our winner?
George E. Pardon me if I pronounce this incorrectly. Rarity Jr.
Okay, here's the only thing I got to say. I didn't forget to mention that you do have to be in the United States for me to get this. So, George, are you in the U.S.? Please respond in the chat.
He is.
Okay, fantastic. So, George, this is what we're going to do. Since you're obviously on Facebook, and so everybody knows the answer was 32. I need everybody to do me a big favor, too. On George's answer, can you all hit like or hit that thumbs up? That was one of the other things, too. The Facebook algorithm is now that the more likes something gets, the bigger the reach is. So do me a huge favor, you guys. On any comment that's on there, any comment, whether it's yours or somebody else's, just hit the like button, you know? And the more likes that we get, or love, or however you want to do it, so either the like or the heart or whatever else, just if you guys could start hitting those things, and throughout the course of this, just keep on hitting. Every time you see a comment, just hit that like every time. If everybody would do that, these videos will go out to so many more people and help so many more people, okay? So the answer was 32. This is a quarter of a gallon, right? 32, 64, 128. So this is a quarter of a gallon. So again, they're not gigantic in the aspect of how much they hold, but how much they hold shouldn't even be a concern because that's not what they were created for.
Sorry, Neil, there won't be a runner-up on this one, but who knows, there might be another giveaway later on.
Oh, yes, there might be another giveaway. Okay, but just live. This is what people ask. Is it important for me to be here live? I don't know. Ask George. Okay, so George, here's what you're going to do. Since you're on Facebook, I want you to go and send me a private message to my regular account with your full name, shipping information, and everything else. And this will be on its way on Monday. Okay, congratulations. Thank you very much for playing. Let's move on. Okay. So that's the visual impact bottles. By the way, just so everybody knows, and don't go just jumping to the website right now, okay? Because there's other information that you're going to want to know. But there are some factory seconds with some real minor little flubs on some of these bottles that make them even less expensive. So if you are looking to maybe be able to get a few extras to give to team members as a beginning of the year gift, or you want to buy a few extras so that every time you have a new person come onto your team, that can be a gift that you give them as kind of an incentive for them to promote as well as make the water part of their daily. That's the other thing too, what these were really for. It's to make the water part of a person's daily routine. You know, if you have a brand new person that hasn't been dealing with this for very long, and you know, you want to make sure that they have a personal drinking bottle, but beyond something that can just put water in their mouth, if they can also have something that is going to be able to help promote the business, which helps them and in turn helps you, then it makes it a win-win situation for everybody involved, okay? All right, the next item that we're going to talk about, it's this. It's the Healthy Times newspaper. So if you've not seen this, this is, it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. It is a marketing newspaper that has all sorts of, it's okay, leave it full screen. It has all sorts of different articles. Now, to understand what this is and how it really gets used, okay, you need to understand the process of information dissemination with a new prospect, okay? This is a sales program, and anybody who's in sales knows sales is a numbers game, okay? It is. It is a numbers game, which means the more people that you prospect, the more people you will eventually sell. That's just the way that it works. However, you need to be, and this is the right word for it, you need to be discriminating in how you spend your money on materials to figure out who those eventual prospects that will buy are going to be, okay? So what I recommend, and again, the reason that this was created, okay, was to be a super cost-effective way to give somebody a shotgun approach of information so then you can determine what the subsequent information is going to be as that person progresses through the process. So if you start with something like this, okay, I give this to a prospect. There is information about health, trending issues, whether they be environmental or, diabetes or things that, cancer risks that are now being attributed to soda consumption, or pregnancy, weight loss, health and wellness, celebrities, there is so much stuff in here. And the reason that they're so diverse in the information is so that you can narrow down the interest of your prospect. So this is how you would use it. Quite literally, this is how you would use it. You would give this to a prospect, okay? After that, you give them a couple of days and you do a follow-up. Yeah, I was just wondering if you had a chance to look at that Healthy Times newspaper. Well, yes, I did. Okay, was there anything in it that really grabbed your attention, caught your eye? That really, was, that you read it and you were like, wow. So then the person says, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I read this article about alkaline water found to benefit the mother and child. Well, guess what? They just told you exactly what you need to focus on for them to become a buyer. Their interest is in how it works for, with, or, a woman who's pregnant. So they've told you, as a result of narrowing down the articles inside of this paper, exactly what your next step should be. Which again, it's then you go and you find the right things to provide to them as far as information that would be pertinent for a pregnant woman. Okay, about that a lot of times, I don't know if people know this or not, but morning sickness many times is caused as a result of dehydration. So just that aspect of proper hydration can actually benefit both mother and child. You have to remember, if the mother's going through something adverse when it comes to pregnancy, so's the baby. Okay, so keep that in mind. But that's an excellent way. So, okay, let's say that you've got somebody who reads this over. When you ask them that same question instead of the pregnancy, they say, yeah, I saw the cover story about bottled water leading to possible health issues. Okay, and also creating environmental nightmares. It lets you know that this person is interested in the environment and health. So those can be your direct ways that now you know what direction to go with them. You want to speak the language that they want to hear. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand. You cannot just have it be a shotgun approach or a sniper approach, okay? A shotgun is, I give you every bit of information about this topic, and then you figure out which one is, might pertain to you. Now, a sniper approach is like, you can't just start. Let's say that you have somebody who they love to cook, okay? But most of my prospects are in the bodybuilding industry. So if you have somebody who loves to cook and you approach them the same way that you would a bodybuilder, talking about how it helps with muscle recovery and this and that, you're missing the mark. You're shooting at a target that isn't even there, okay? So by narrowing down what it is that your prospect really wants to know about, that allows you to customize the information that you're giving them so that you can then go through the process, because it's a process of providing more and more information that's more and more pertinent to them until they get to the point where all of that information combined creates the proper buying decision. Okay, that it basically has answered all the questions necessary for them to be able to make an educated purchase. That's what we're going for. See, we're not like these other companies out there that use high pressure sales, manipulation of emotions to sell our products. You know what we do? We customize our approach to let the person who's possibly going to buy one of our products know exactly how it's going to be able to handle their needs and desires. At least that's what I do. And I think it's the best way to do it, because at the end of the day, that's going to make people really appreciate the effort that you put into this. Because this is not a one-off sale, you guys. If you're doing this right, the sale that you make, that person should become somebody in your life forever. They should become a part of your life to some degree for the rest of yours and their lives. Okay? That's the type of product that we have. This is not just some run-of-the-mill, oh yeah, no big deal product. This is a big deal, okay? So that's the way to use this. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand how to really, if I told you that there's a process in using a newspaper, you'd probably think, you're crazy. But there actually is. There is a process, and this is the beginning of it, because it's the most cost-effective and can start leading. Because here's the deal. This thing basically cost about a dime to, I think 20 cents to a nickel per copy when you purchase them, depending on what quantities, okay? So if I was to give this to somebody, let's say it cost me 50 cents. I'll just go way over to the other side. This thing cost me 50 cents to give to somebody, okay? Now, which would you rather do? Spend 50 cents, you give this to somebody, and then they express no interest. Or spend $4 for something, $2 on a brochure that you give them, and there's no interest. Which would you rather do? Because to me, if you're going to find out that the person maybe doesn't have any interest, or maybe not right now, or whatever the case might be, I'd rather spend as little money as possible to find that out. Okay? And that's what this will allow you to do. Okay? Okay. The other thing also I want to mention, this is completely compliant. This was given to Enagic before the 2016 convention. It was completely gone through by the compliance department. It was approved. As a matter of fact, ours was the only newspaper at the convention that had gone through the approval process and had approval. Okay. Another thing is, if you know me, I don't create things just so they'll sell. I create things so that they stay within the rules and the requirements that Enagic sets forth. I also do it so it does not put our distributors in any kind of jeopardy. And I do it so that the information that's being given is worthy of a person looking at it. This is actual news when you read it over. I've seen some of these newspapers. It's just an ad. That's all it is. It's an ad. And it's, in some cases, not done very well. So, I use this myself. And again, like I said earlier, I don't make anything that I didn't have the intention of using myself or using with my team members. Okay? What time is it? It's giveaway time. Oh my gosh! It's time for another giveaway. All right, you guys. So here's our next giveaway. This is a 200 pack of Healthy Times newspapers. Okay? This is, just so you know, this is what I recommend anybody starts with. Okay? Relatively small when it comes to the actual amount, but it's enough to really be able to get you going. So you can get out there. You don't have to think about giving them out to people, okay? Don't cost that much, and it's going to allow you to hand these out to pretty much everybody, okay?
How much are they usually?
Actually, they run anywhere from, depending on how many you get, $20 to $40 for a 20 pack. Oh, I mean a 200 pack, 20 pack, a 200 pack. They do. I mean, some people buy 1,000. I think the largest purchase I've ever had of these was like 5,000. It was for somebody who was going to a big convention. Huh? Was it a 10,000? Oh, it was a 10,000. I'm sorry. It was a 10,000 piece order that was for a person that was going to one of those big events, and they wanted literally to be able to have enough every single person who came. So that was cool. Okay, so here is our question in order to win a 200 pack of the Healthy Times. If you won once tonight, though, you are out of the running. So George or Jorge, or however it's pronounced, I apologize that you're not in the running for this one, but you already got 2 really cool bottles, pal. So you scored already anyway. So here's our question. So it's going to be the first person in the chat that everybody's going to hit the like button for that can respond to this question. Real quick. Okay. Who is the person featured at the top front page story of the Healthy Times? It's the person that I just showed you a few seconds ago on the cover or front page of the Healthy Times. So put it down there. And yes, he is a doctor. So I'll give you that little hint. One more quick hint. No? Okay. Do we have anybody who has it yet? Okay, it looks like we have a winner. The correct answer is, of course, Dr. Shinya. Okay? So Dr. Shinya is the correct answer. Who is our winner?
Joanna Sanfilippo Crivello.
Okay. Giovanna, I hope you are also in the United States. Please confirm that. Because, again, I do apologize to it because I know that people from out of the country are, logging into this training and everything, and I'm sorry that I have to limit it to the U.S., but those international postage rates are murder. They are murder. Okay, so are they in the U.S.? Let's just verify that our winner is from the United States or is in the United States. Because if not, we're gonna have to get another one. Please confirm that you're in the U.S. by just putting yes.
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So I'd like you to do the same thing that I asked George to do earlier.
There was a typo, but I knew.
Oh, spelling doesn't count on this one. We have it right. It's okay. It's okay. So on my personal Facebook, just go ahead and send me a private message. Do not put your address in the comments, okay? Send me a private message with your full name and mailing address, and your package of 200 of the Healthy Times will be coming out to you on Monday, okay? All right, moving right along. The last resource we're going to talk about is the Water is Life water bags. Okay, and I'm going to answer a few questions that people had given me. Now, one of the things I want everybody to know is these bags are actually individually wrapped. They're individually wrapped and packaged. So when you get them, I mean, literally, they're just like this. They are each in their own little package and everything. And the only thing you have to remember is that they do need to be rinsed out just slightly, kind of a light rinse before they're used for the first time. But then they can be used over and over and over again. Matter of fact, when we first produced these, I asked my son to do me a favor. Because my son, if you've ever seen some of the bottles this kid carries, I mean, he drinks a lot of water, okay? So some of his bottles are just ginormous, okay? So I asked him to do me a favor and use one of these as his personal drinking vessel for a month. I wanted to see how constant daily use was going to really, I wanted it to be abused, but in a real world scenario. So I asked him to do that for me. He, of course, being the loving son that he is, just agreed with no qualms or issues. And in all seriousness, he was like, sure, Dad, I'll do it. And so for the next 30 days, he used one of these as his drinking bottle. And, well, he definitely put it through the ringer. He beat it up, but you know what? Didn't spring any leaks. The printing and everything stayed really good, and it worked fantastic. So I felt really good about it. Then Bill Mabry, who is somebody that I work, he's local to me out here. Somebody that he's not on my team. Bill and I are not on the same team at all. We have no financial vested interest in one another. But Bill wanted to check these out. So he ordered some, and unbeknownst to me, he did a bunch of tests on them because he had bought some other bags that he was not happy with at all. Well, then he made a video and contacted me and said, Jerry, I hope you don't get mad about this, but I made a review video about your bags. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be mad unless you said something mean or terrible. And it was quite to the contrary. Everything Bill had to say about the bags was completely flattering. Because the material. See, I don't scrimp on quality. I know there's other water bags that are out there, and I know how much they charge for them. But I also know for at least pretty close how much they cost them. Okay, I know how much these cost, and in most cases, my actual costs are for most of them over twice as much as the other ones that are out there on the market. Okay, why is that? Well, because I insisted on a much higher quality product. I insisted on the large mouth opening. I insisted on the reinforced handle. I insisted on BPA free. I insisted on a full coverage graphic to help reduce light exposure. I insisted on all of these things. I insisted on it being a larger, 5-liter size. I wanted to make sure it was everything that was going to be beneficial for the distributors. And so this is what we ended up coming up with. And that's why we had such great results. Bill had actually told me that a couple of the ones that he had purchased from other people, when he tested the water properties had diminished in literally like in minutes. They were just gone because Bill was taking them to the gym with him for his workouts. And he literally was saying, Jerry, I tested it before I went to the gym and found out that the properties had pretty much disappeared. And he said, so when I tested yours and found out, what was that? It just flashed. Okay. I just want to make sure we're still connected. Okay. That was really weird. Sorry about that, guys. But basically, Bill said when he tested our water in the bags, it had retained the negative ORP much better. It had retained the pH level much better. And those, to me, obviously, most important things, because these are for sampling purposes. And they can be used over and over and over again. So we realized this was the wave of the future, so to speak, because the 1 gallon jugs, they're great, man, but they take up so much room because they have, it's an empty void that you can't do anything about. Whereas once this has actually been used, it flattens out to like as thin as a piece of paper almost. So that's one of the reasons that it's so much easier. I mean, right now I have thousands of these available, and they take up, if I had thousands of those 1 gallon jugs, I would need to fill up my whole house in order to have thousands of those. Whereas I have thousands of these, and it takes up a corner. It's pretty incredible. Now, I want to make sure that people understand that when these were designed, okay, these were designed to spark interest and to tell a story, okay, but without too many keywords, okay? Keywords. I've had people go, hey, wait a second, Jerry, it doesn't say Kangen water anywhere on this. And you know what my answer to that is? I know. Did that for a reason, okay? When you mention, unfortunately, Kangen water or Enagic now, because of what these other, ionizer sellers have done, people will go to the internet, put in the word Enagic, and 5 other brands pop up. They put in the word Kangen water, and 10 other brands pop up because they have bought sponsored links based on those keywords. So the way I thought about it was, when a person is sampling, when they first get started, maybe it's better to tell a story than to brand the product. Because I want to make sure that they don't prejudge the contents of this bag based on a search on the internet. I wanted to have the best opportunity for them to give the water a chance before they get bombarded with a bunch of BS that's on the internet from these other sellers, okay? And the only way to avoid that is by waiting to introduce them to the aspect of Kangen water and Enagic by name until they have seen what this can do for them. So they have experienced it, so that now what it's called won't matter, because they're already, I hate to put it like this, but they're already hooked. They already enjoy drinking it. They enjoy the benefit that proper hydration is creating for them. So that's why it doesn't say anything on here. There's none at all. There's nothing on here that says it about Enagic, Kangen water, anything else. Okay? So for those who are wondering, and here's the little and I'm going to give you a little story that I thought was pretty interesting. So my son had gone to it's called Belagarth. It's like recreations of like fighting stuff. Not recreations. I mean, they just beat each other up. But it's like, what is it?
Combat.
Medieval combat is basically, but they use foam weapons instead of like the real deal. Oh, he does that too, though. He does full armor too with real weapons, which is just insane. But basically, they do this. Well, he went to this big event in Idaho, and when he went there, he brought a machine with him because he knew there was a hookup and he was going to be there for like 5 days. He was like, look, Dad, I don't want to bring 5 days worth of water because it's going to take up a lot of room. I'm going to bring, the machine, hook it up, and I'll make water on a daily basis. And I was like, cool. So he took a bunch of the bags with him. Well, he had given one to a friend of his that was like, he was interested in just the bag. He didn't even understand any of the other stuff. Well, his friend was walking around with it, and he went by one of the vendors that is for their food plans. So it's just basically like a mobile pop-up restaurant that makes the food for these guys. And they saw it, and they were like, hey, is that a water bag? Is that? And he was like, yes. And they said, well, what's so different about the bag itself? What's the deal with the water? And basically, he talked to them by just looking down. He was like, well, yes, this water is antioxidant rich. It's eco-friendly. It helps with anti-aging. And he basically just used the things that were printed on here to describe the water and explain it to these people. And now they're interested in looking at the water and the technology into their food service as a result of that. So this was somebody who had no idea about the product at all and simply used the bag as his go-to, okay? So I thought that was pretty cool. With that said, I think it's time for another giveaway. That's right, folks. Another giveaway. Can you believe it? The gifts just keep on coming. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. For this giveaway, again, the first person who responds to the question, with what we have as the answer, which means it might not be right, but it's what we have as the answer. Okay, I mentioned earlier that this is a 5-liter reusable water bag. So your question is this. The bag holds 5 liters. Approximately how many gallons is that? So the first person who responds that's in the United States with the correct answer that 5 liters is approximately how many gallons will win themselves a 20-pack of water bags. A 20-pack of water bags. We have anybody even close?
Yes.
They got to be closer.
Yeah. I got one.
Uh-oh. It looks like we have a winner.
Abby French.
Who?
Abby French.
Abby French, congratulations. You answered correctly. 1.25 gallons. Approximately 1.25 gallons. Which means 4 of these bags equals 5 gallons of water. Okay? So when you're sampling people, 4 of these bags is 5 gallons of water. Just so you have that, in your memory bank. So congratulations, Abby. Make sure that you send me a private message with your name, your full name, and mailing address. And on Monday, a box of 20 of the water bags will be on its way to you. Okay? All right. So a couple more things I want to cover real quick. So new resources are in development and should be available by the end of the month, including a new pet-related marketing magazine, a sports-related marketing magazine, and a first-of-its-kind business-related marketing magazine. Okay, so those are in its final stages of development and are just about ready to go to the printer. And once that happens, they will be made available for everybody. And I can absolutely assure you, those magazines are very valuable and very, very effective when it comes to marketing. Okay, so let me give you a quick summary then. Okay, now the reality is you can succeed without using tools, but it will make your job much more difficult. Okay, I think we all can understand that. So imagine trying to build a house with little to no tools. Now, you could probably do it, but it would be tough. Okay, now here's the deal, folks. If you're like me, you're not trying to build a house, you're trying to build an empire, not like a side gig. So if you want to do the same as I do, and as quickly as possible, using the right tools is actually absolutely necessary, okay? So here is your special New Year offer, okay? These tools that I just showed you, I just explained how to use them, how to really maximize them, how to get the most out of them, okay? They are, for the next 72 hours, available for 50% off the normal amount. The 50. That's right, half price, okay? But just for the next 72 hours. So if you're serious about success in Enagic, you need to have the tools to help make that happen, all right? So simply go to going6a.com and click on the shop link in the menu bar, and you will use the code SAVE. Okay, here's the code. SAVE, S-A-V-E, and that's for 50% off. Okay? And again, use that code SAVE, receive 50% off when you place your order in the next 72 hours. It includes anything on there, including the factory seconds of the bottles, which are already discounted. Okay? So this is your opportunity to get a really good deal and to save some dough and get the best. Look, I don't like tooting my own horn. Okay? I really don't. I don't like patting myself on the back. But these are the best resources a Magic has. Period. The stuff that I've created, stuff like this, the stuff that I've created, it has created more impact in this business than anything else. And that's just a fact, okay? So I really hope you guys decide to put these to good use. You want your 2019 to kick butt? Well, then you need to get your butt kicking shoes on. That's what these are, okay? These are the things that are going to help you achieve that. They're going to help you get focused. They're going to help your prospects get focused. They're just going to help, okay? So real quick, just a couple of quick announcements. A reminder to everyone that Going 6A, the 6th version, okay, 6th edition, it's now available. This is the Going 6A edition. It's now available in both print and digitally. Now, Ride the Wave has been the most effective distributor guide in Enagic. It's helped literally tens of thousands of distributors succeed. So if you're brand new and you're looking for information that's going to jumpstart your business, it's going to give you a good year to year and a half head start against somebody who doesn't put this to use, this is one of the things you want to get, okay? And there is a link to the, because it's available on Amazon for either digitally or in a print copy, okay? So you just go to that same page on the going6a.com website, and at the very bottom, it'll link you over to go to the Amazon page where you can place the order. Now, here's one of the other things, too, that's kind of cool. It's available in multiple different markets. So it's available in, like, Japan and Canada. Now, it's not in those languages, so it's not in Japanese. It's in English, but it's available for local printing, and so it's going to bring the cost down tremendously for you, the buyer. That was the main reason I went that route, is because it allowed me to not have to worry about those really exorbitant shipping costs for people who are out of those areas, or out of the local areas, okay? Also, another announcement, make sure that you receive notices for things like this training or special offers or things like that by joining our email list. Now, this is an opt-in email list, so you will have to do this. You can't just put your email address in the comments and expect it to happen. It's opt-in. It means you have to do it. But if you go to going6a.com and click on subscribe in the menu bar, and then just fill out the simple information. It's through Constant Contact. They're a very, they're a very good email service provider when it comes to, sending out, email lists and stuff like that. So, and it is completely opt-in. And so if you decide down the road that you like to opt out, it literally is a click, and you're done. You won't get emails anymore. Okay. Last thing, we just entered into a brand new year, you guys, 2019. That is just, it's weird to say it. This is all of our opportunity to make the next 12 months our greatest year. So I hope that you decide to use some of these resources to help make that a reality for you. When the new resources are put out there, I hope you decide to take a look at some of those and you utilize those as well. And obviously, if I can be of any assistance to anybody, I try to make myself available as much as possible. So I'm here to try to help you succeed and hope that I can do that. So if you're not on my team, I'll still help you. If you are on my team, I definitely will help you, okay? So I want to make sure everybody understands that. So with that said, I'm just going to wish everybody a very happy new year. Let's make 2019 our greatest year ever. All right, you guys, watch for notices on upcoming trainings and subscribe to that email list so we can get things going. And do me a favor, everybody, hit a bunch of the likes before I end this thing, okay? Just keep on hitting those likes and make sure that we have as many likes as possible, because we want as many people as possible to be able to share and enjoy this information and utilize it to help them grow their Enagic business. Thanks again, you guys. We'll see you soon.